night was dark and the fog clung to the deserted highway like a spectral shroud. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles turning white as I navigated the winding roads of Route 66. The flickering glow of the dashboard lights was my only companion in this desolate stretch of asphalt, miles away from the nearest town. I had always been fascinated by the stories of haunted highways, and tonight, I was about to experience one firsthand. As a paranormal investigator, this was my calling, to unravel the mysteries that hid in the shadows of America's forgotten roads. The tales of ghostly apparitions and phantom hitchhikers that echoed through the ages fueled my excitement. But nothing could have prepared me for what awaited on that eerie stretch of Route 66. The air inside the car grew heavy as I approached a dilapidated sign that read, "Welcome to Phantom Pines." The trees on either side of the road stood like silent sentinels, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes followed my every move. The radio crackled to life, emitting a faint static that sent shivers down my spine. I adjusted the dial, hoping to catch a familiar station, but all I could hear were indistinct whispers that seemed to beckon me further into the darkness. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as the whispers grew louder, forming unintelligible words that echoed through the car. I pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the ghostly tales that clung to this haunted highway. The road seemed to stretch endlessly into the night, the yellow lines disappearing into the abyss. Suddenly, a figure materialized on the side of the road, a hitchhiker. His silhouette was hazy in the mist, and I hesitated for a moment before pulling over. The wind howled through the open windows as he approached, his face obscured by the tattered hood of his cloak. I could feel the temperature in the car drop as he opened the door and settled into the passenger seat without a word. "Phantom Pines is a place of eternal echoes," he whispered, his voice carrying a haunting resonance. "The past and the present converge on this cursed highway. You're not alone, and you're never truly free." My heart raced as I tried to make sense of his cryptic words. The highway seemed to come alive with unseen forces, shadows dancing in the periphery of my vision. The hitchhiker's gaze bore into mine, and I could see the pain and despair etched into his spectral features. As we drove, he recounted the tale of a tragic accident that had occurred on this very road decades ago. A group of friends, full of life and laughter, had met their untimely end in a collision that left their souls bound to Route 66. The hitchhiker himself was one of the ill-fated travelers, forever condemned to roam the highway in search of salvation. I felt a chill in my bones as he spoke of the restless spirits that inhabited Phantom Pines. They appeared in the rearview mirror, their faces contorted with anguish, their ethereal hands reaching out for release. My hands trembled on the steering wheel as the car became a vessel for the sorrowful echoes of the past. The hitchhiker guided me to an abandoned gas station that loomed in the distance, its flickering neon sign spelling out "Last Stop." The air grew thick with sorrow as we entered the derelict building, the creaking floorboards echoing with the tortured wails of the lingering spirits. In the dim light, I saw apparitions of the past, a group of friends frozen in time, laughter eternally trapped on their faces. The air was heavy with the scent of gasoline and regret. I could feel the weight of the tragedy that had unfolded within those walls, and the spirits seemed to plead for release. The hitchhiker led me to a rusted pump outside, where an otherworldly figure stood. It was a spectral attendant, forever condemned to wait for customers who would never come. The pump jolted to life, and the eerie glow of ethereal gasoline spilled into the car. The hitchhiker's words echoed in my mind. The highway demanded payment for passage. I thanked the spectral attendants, their faces etched with gratitude, and drove back onto the haunted highway. The fog seemed to lift, and the whispers in the air faded into an eerie silence. The hitchhiker sat beside me, his form growing fainter with each passing mile. As the first light of dawn broke on the horizon, I reached the end of Route 66. The hitchhiker turned to me, his eyes filled with a strange mix of sorrow and gratitude. With a nod, he stepped out of the car and vanished into the morning mist. leaving me alone on the now ordinary stretch of road. As I drove away, I couldn't shake the feeling that Phantom Pines and its haunted highway had changed me forever. The echoes of the past lingered in my mind, a reminder that some stories are etched into the very fabric of the roads we travel. The haunted highways of America held secrets that transcended time, and I was just a fleeting traveler through their ghostly corridors.